9 years. 9 long years since we saw the beauty of our home. The wind streaming through the sands, the great towers of Hjalonde and the gentle lap of the waves on the golden shores, with those great towering jungles away on the horizon. There's not a man amongst us who doesn't yearn for our return, to be reunited with our wives and our families and our homeland. When I look back on my younger self, I cannot believe how naive I was. I followed Gimmelkard as though he was Ar-Pharazôn reborn. I believed every word he said, and I didn't doubt his abilities for a single moment. When we took Osgiliath, and he sent word home so the main army could sail north to support us, I believed him. When we took Minas Tirith, and renamed it in his image, and again he promised that the main army would surely come north, I believed him. How foolish I was. We now realize the truth. Our Gimmelkard was sent north on his glorious conquest by the lords of our home, not because of the conviction in his words or the strength of his arm, but because he was despised. We were all sacrificed so our great leaders could rid themselves of a nuisance, nothing more. Never have I felt such a confused mix of feelings about the land that I love, a place I dream of each and every day, and yet, when I awake, I am reminded that to my homeland I am nothing more than a pawn in their political games. Yet, 9 years later, standing alone against the armies of the traitors, and against all the odds, we have prevailed. Not him, no, never him, but we, the sons and daughters of Númenor, we have prevailed. Our victories, swiftly mounting, are mostly accountable to 2 brave men, Gimmelzor and Gimmelthon. Gimmelzor has been my commander now for many years, and I have always held respect for the man, but to see him now on these true fields of battle is to look upon the fury of Númenor incarnate. His sword sings as he cleaves his way through dozens of Gondorians, and yet he shows them mercy when they throw down their arms. He even welcomes them as long-lost brothers, wayward and on the wrong path, but brothers nevertheless. When Gimmelzor leads the army, I feel there is nothing that can stand in our way. Gimmelzor and my company have spent much of our time in the north putting down minor uprisings and ensuring peace reigns in our newly conquered lands. To speak of Gimmelzor as benevolent to these people, even to those undeserving of his mercy, would be only scratching the surface. He is a born leader. And standing always beside him is of course Gimmelthon. Outwardly, the two could not be more different. Zor is brash, courageous, loud yet bold, whereas Thon is quiet. He's mild-mannered, secretive, and often shy. One brother casts a large shadow, and the other has been content to hide in it. But yet, when pressed, I have never seen a man with such resolve as Gimmelthon. On 5 separate occasions he has led the defence of Hjalonde, and each time utterly defied the odds. His tactical genius has shone through time and time again, but more so than that, he personally has claimed more lives defending those walls than any other man. There is none among us who doesn't bow when Gimmelthon enters a room. Even Zor defers to Thon on almost all matters, and Gimmelthon is now the king in all but name. Of course, there is one who doesn't bow when Thon enters, one who doesn't acknowledge that this expedition is alive thanks to him, one who still claims ultimate glory and issues proclamations of his coming victory on a monthly basis. The less we speak of him, the better. Hjalonde, would you believe? Not even the family name of Gimmelonde. No. He takes everything for himself. Yet he doesn't realize that he has nothing. There is not a man amongst us who would not stand if Gimmelkard's sons rose against him. Perhaps the king is now wiser than I first thought, however. For not 2 months past he issued a new order to his sons, promising them fame and glory and a chance to further our interests. Our king has decided the time has come to leave the safety of our walls and hit the traitors in their homelands. We have strength enough now, apparently, to continue the conquest, and who has he chosen to lead this suicidal vainglory? Why, Gimmelzor and Gimmelthon, of course. In one respect, I understand. They are the finest commanders we have. They hold the utmost respect of the men, and we would die for them. And were it not for Gimmelzor's benevolence, the Gondorians fighting beside us may well fight against us. But on the other hand, anybody can see that this attack is utter folly. Our army is still woefully outnumbered if our spies are to be believed, and it is only a matter of time before Gondor wears us down in some backwater hole of their choosing. Still, the king has not lost total control yet, and his sons still hold a begrudging respect for their father, so we marched. South we went, to the crossing of the river Arui. We passed into the Gondorian fiefdom of Lossarnac, one of the most populated regions of Gondor and home to one Forlong the Fat. Odd that his subjects call him that as though a mark of respect. We came upon his city of Karasast, having met no resistance, and we laid siege. For 1 month our army camped outside the walls and met nothing in return. No arrow fire, no stone throwing, no messengers. It was as though the city would simply roll over when their supplies ran out. How foolish I was. The ground trembled again. Dust clouds rose on the horizon. Gondor had come. Yet our leader, Gimmelthon, was not afeared. Calmly, he ordered the men to break camp and march back to the river. And so we did. No cries, no screams, no routing, just men marching. On the bridge across the Arui we made our stand, and what a glorious day it was. Our army was outnumbered, fighting an enemy on their soil, and to make matters worse, we commanded an army of turncoats, Gondorians who had swiftly proclaimed Gimmelkad their king and welcomed us as liberators. They had proven their worth behind the walls of Karlonde, true, but the field was another matter. Out here, they could easily join the Gondorians if the battle goes ill, and I was not feeling confident as I stood beside Gimmelzor and waited. But I underestimated them. These men truly are our brothers. They fight viciously, and made Gondor pay for every single step across that damned bridge. The battle was an overwhelming victory, and thousands of the traitors were captured. We rejoiced that night like we did when Minas Tirith first fell all those years ago. A glorious day. Yet every good day is so often followed by a bad. And greeting us across the river this morning are the battle flags of thousands upon thousands of Gondorians. In the commander's tent the story was made worse. Our spies report that Gondor has made a lasting peace with the filthy wildmen who live away to their west. And so we stand now as Gondor's sole enemy, and their western garrisons are reportedly marching to meet us. I trust, my lords, with all that I am, but I fear that this may be my end. Diary of Avradizimir, Armsman, Gimmelzor's First Company. The year 2992 of the Third Age. My Gavanen Melonine, and well met indeed. I'm Adrian, and welcome back to Middle-earth as we continue on as the Ar-Adûnâim. Two things first, apologies that intro was a little longer than the last time, but of course there have been 3 episodes to cover since last time, so it was a touch longer. And also, I apologise that the live stream on the weekend for some reason is now only saving in 720p. I don't know why that is, YouTube has shafted me, but I have fiddled around, and hopefully live streams in the future will no longer be that way. I've done copious amounts of tests since Saturday, and I've managed to make sure that it renders in 1440 at least after it's been streamed. It won't stream in 1440 because I can't get it to do that, I'm afraid. But anyway, here we are with the Ar-Adûnâim, and have I got some fun for you today, because almost everything about the Ar-Adûnâim overhaul has now been completed, and the keen-eyed amongst you will already note that the banner icon has been changed. Not absolutely everywhere, but those are the only 2 places where it hasn't, to my knowledge. But the banner icon has been changed here and in the loading bar and at the main menu and all that kind of stuff. So yes, it's now in keeping with the new designs that, from Castellan, which will work nicely. Also, all of the redesigned units are now in, so if we can have a fight with Lord Gimmelzor, you'll get to see what the armsmen look like. And then once the our best unit is available from the Tower of Ecthelion, the Royal Knights, that's what they're going to look like, because also the UI has now been implemented as well, so you can see the Azrazair units now have the proper UI, denoting what they actually now look like. I can't really show you that many of them, because of course we haven't really got any trained. Most of our army is currently Gondorian and supporting us that way. But of course, where are we? What's happening? How are we going about life at the moment? Well, our leader, Ar-Adûnâim, is finally doing something. Sorry, just moving that box of tissues. Cali Cat's just knocked off the desk. Ar-Adûnâim is leading an attack on Caer-Andros. Mordor are totally disengaged from Gondor now, so we have a unique opportunity to sneak in and get it. I've given him a deliberately small army in the hope that Faramir, the governor and commander of Caer-Andros, who we can see if we double-click on it, will rise up against us, because those two units will fall no trouble to those two units. I hope. They are both rank 9, that's ridiculous. But if he attacks me, of course, they don't get their garrison forces. And south on the bridge here, we are holding against Gondor, who come again. And I will take those two units as a bare minimum. To make sure that we've got whatever units we can get. 11 of you aren't really all that useful. I would rather have 60 scouts, I think, to be brutally honest. So if you tip off home, and we'll take the scouts instead. We are now holding on the bridge under Lord Gimmelzor and Lord Gimmelthon on the River Rui, just outside of Karasast, where the little intro... I was very pleased with the little intro this morning. When I listened to it back, I thought, oh, that's... I think I'm getting better at those, which I'm pleased with, because if I did something like that when I first started out on YouTube, I would have been... it would not have been very good. Back in day, as I'm sure many of you have done, if you ever hear your own voice back on a recording, it's so cringy. But I'm kind of getting to a stage now where it's not too bad. Right, we've got a little bit of money. Everywhere is building a thing except for Osterthiel, so let's give you something to build. And I am thinking the Mason's Hall. Let's get some cheaper buildings up and about. Some of you have suggested the Minas Tirith Confederate conscription camp should give something extra. It should give something a bit more. But do remember that the conscription camp is designed to not give very much at all. And at the second tier, you then get something of use. In this case, Gondor Infantry and Gondor Cavalry. No, Gondor Cavalry Militia, sorry. No, I did that last time, didn't I? Just Gondor Infantry. The unique unit, quote-unquote, that you get from Minas Tirith are your own units that come from the Tower of Ecthelion, being the Royal Guard and the Royal Knights. So you do get something unique in Minas Tirith, but you've got to get your culture up to 75% before you can see them, which is a long old way away. But anyway, I'll end the turn, and Gondor will almost certainly attack us. As we saw from the Toggle Fog of War, though, Gondor's next army is over here in Tarnost. So once we've killed these, we've bought a little bit of time. I say once we've killed those with such conviction. I don't believe for a second it's going to be easy, but we've always got the fallback that if we can get at least maybe 6 or 7 units into Karlonde, we can hold it. So we'll just have to wait and see for that. Also, thank you very much to all of you who've made naming suggestions for Osgiliath. I keep forgetting to write down the one that I like. And you've all made mention of Azul and... Is it Anar and Azul, meaning west and east, respectively? So they could likely make their way in. But then we run the risk of the names being really, really, really long. And as you can see, they already overlap each other, which always bothers me. Hence, we took the decision to make it W. Osgiliath rather than actually West Osgiliath, because they get in each other's way. But anyway, there we are. I will implement names shortly. Oh, they've got a leather worker, which is nice. And we've got some good recruitment coming through. In fact, we've got some fantastic recruitment. Rosadan Bowmen, Azrazair Warriors, Rosadan Halberdiers. You can definitely take up positions in the armies. How many of you are there? I'd take all 4 of them, to be honest. Archers are very welcome. Definitely get rid of them. Definitely get rid of them. And anything else that's sort of weak and pathetic? Well, arguably the Gondor Militia and the Gondor Territorial Guardsmen. Are you training anything else? Yes, you are, yeah. My microphone is now so used that when I press the button that mutes it, I often have to press it 2 or 3 times because it doesn't register that I've pressed it. Becoming a real pain. Still making money? Yes, we are. And Faramir did not rise up. But if Faramir doesn't want to rise up, all the better. We'll sit there for 10 turns and siege him out. That is not a problem. I would welcome that. Avalobin governing over there. We've got the other fellow governing here, Kalimetar. We don't have any... We won't get any adoptions, because adoptions are tied to the number of regions you have. So the game will give you an adoption if it thinks you don't have enough generals for the number of regions you control. But we, of course, are only at the moment controlling 5 regions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 soon, and I don't know how many it actually is before the AI thinks, yes, I think you need another general. So I can't help on that regard. But once we take a few more regions, it will then start saying, we think you should do with more generals. Now, we do have one clear advantage here, and that is that the enemy can only ever bring 2 armies at once, because they can only stand there and there. They can't stand here, and whoever attacks me will make me the centre of the 9-tile grid that the game then generates. So, at most, we will only ever fight 2 Gondorian armies standing on that bridge. But what I'm afraid of now is that because they've not attacked me, there's a very real risk they're going to wait until their entire might has come east, and we are then going to be forced to fight 2 armies, then 2 armies, then 2 armies, and then probably 2 more armies. And I'm not sure we can hold off 8 full stacks of Gondorian forces. What we really need is siege. Siege and bridge battles go together like horses and carriages, or lemons and limes. Tomatoes and pasta. They go very, very, very well, and we'll be able to school Gondor for days on end if we have some siege. There is also a risk, though, when one has siege of killing one's own troops. And when your army is led by me, that's a very real risk. So we've got to watch out for that. Now, why have I sent my diplomat to Mordor? For trade rights. Yes. That will help us greatly, because we are right next door to them. Now, we can't ally them, because we're allied to Khand, who are their enemies. Which does mean that Mordor are very likely to actually attack me, because I am at war with their enemies. Alright, we've got 2 more units. Now, the Territorial Guardsmen, I think, are better than the Gondor Militia, but they're definitely better than the Azrazeya Raiders. And we definitely will take out scouts for 2 units. Oh, hang on, you need to keep something behind. Oh, you've got the Azrazeya Raiders coming in a moment. That's fine. Alright, well, the army down here is turning into quite a good army, actually, which is wonderful to see. And I will take those Azrazeya crossbows. I might just shorten their name to Zaire crossbows, by the way. It's such a mouthful saying it over and over and over. Oh, you're building your roads. Oh, fantastic. Oh, that's good. When they get completed, then we'll get some real money. Don't bother with you guys, then. We don't need more Corsairs doing nothing. You're trying to get a great haul, and you'll have your troops in a moment. And in Karlonde, did you get your units retrained? Ah, yes, you are. Fantastic. You can retrain yourself, apparently, but you don't need to. And still Gondor does not meet us, and still more Gondorian armies come through. Yes. But all the while they take longer, we get better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 archers out of a 20 company. And I'll take those crossbows. Oh, and the Marines. I will take the Marines. Have we got other Marines? No, not yet. Well, we'll chuck Marines in there. You can give me any archers. I see. I'm not sure we want Corsair archers, though. And in Ostithil, we really want this to get a conscription camp, ideally, because A, it makes money, and B, it gives us free upkeep for the units that we've put there. Because of the castle, we get the free upkeep. But with a Warlord's Hall, we'd get 2 free upkeep, which is give us extra money. I mean, that's about 350 more gold coins we'd get for doing basically nothing. So if you could build both of those, it will make them dislike us, though. The happiness will go down. At the minute, the garrison is all that's keeping the happiness, though, so that will have absolutely no effect. Law is only at 10%, but it's wavering because that's going to remove the law bonus. So we're going to go down to 70%, theoretically, if we built that right now. But the happiness won't do anything because they hate us so much. There is no happiness, so you can't you can't make people hate you more when they already hate you the most in the game. I'm sure you probably could in real life. Faramir is just going to let himself die. His best opportunity was to attack me right away. Or straight away, I suppose. No, that's why Gondor is faffing around. Of course. A little lesson once again. The AI is not clever enough to know what a river is. They are not clever enough to realise that they're not going to get to Caer Andros without going through me. They know my army is in the way, but they can't put 2 and 2 together and make 4. So they want desperately, this is my hypothesis anyway, I think they want the armies that are currently standing around Karasas, they really want those to go up and help Caer Andros. But they can't do that because they can't get past me. And so Faramir's not coming out because he thinks, oh, I've got all these armies who are within like 2 turns journey. They can definitely get here before I am besieged, so he won't rise up. But Gondor, of course, can't move its troops to me without attacking me on the bridge. Now, they have attacked me now, but I think that's more because they've got more strength here. They think they're going to do better. But in truth, of course, the reason Faramir's not rising up is because they can't get to him. But he thinks they can. That's the point of this little story. So he's going to let himself die, I'm afraid. And Gimmelzor and Gimmelthon are now going to do what we can against Dwelin. Dwelin comes all the way from... isn't he the son of... what's the fellow called? The one that gets trampled by a Mumakil at the Pelennor Fields. And is from the Blackroot Vale and has Blackroot Vale bodyguard. I'm sure Dwelin is his son. And Captain Dinellen. It's all, again, Gondorian trash. They've got a Ballaster, though, which is going to give us grief. There are 2 non-trash units, Spearmen and Infantry. Lamberton Clansmen, arguably, as well. So there's some things here that might give a bit of an issue. Let's hit the buggers, then. Oh, we're not going to hit them. We're absolutely going to win this. They don't have enough to break that bridge. We've got plenty. Captain Fuenur is also coming. Fuenur is coming. And he's going to help us. We can't see what his army is because the game decides that you're not allowed to see what your allies' armies are for some reason. But otherwise, let's just do it.
Muster your courage, men! We march into battle!
This bridge is actually a fantastic bridge because we already know 2 things. Number 1, we can only ever be attacked by 2 armies, which massively reduces Gondor's numbers favour. It's like battling at the hot gates, isn't it? Fun fact for you, if you didn't know, did you know that Thermopylae actually means hot gates? That is what it translates to. That's the same root where we get thermometer, and obviously comes from heat and temperature or whatever. And Pili is obviously the Greek plural for gates. Now, is it ancient Greek or is it modern Greek? That would be my question. That I don't know. But I always thought that was interesting. Anyway, we're fighting in a similar situation, and the other thing we have in our advantage is this battle map is so bizarrely bugged because of this stupid non-existent mountain range, which absolutely shouldn't be here, but for some reason is. And it's not bugged enough to stop the game working, but as we saw last time, the AI's reinforcements can only join them through this small strip here. So if they're coming in over there, they've got to walk all the way across the top of the hill and then come down. So we get a lot of time to deal with the second army. The only downside, though, is that I'd rather be on a side like that one, where the hill doesn't slope away as quickly, whereas on our side it slopes immediately. It makes it a bit harder. But we've got more troops, we've got better forces, and first of all, before we do any of that, let's have a look at Gimmelzor, because he now has his new unit, the Ar-Adûnâim Armsmen, and for comparison, we'll chuck some of the other units in behind. So here we go. Let's just have a look. These are the Ar-Adûnâim Armsmen now. Now, what stands out amongst about them from other things are the sort of cloth-like sash they've got covering their right shoulder, and then it comes down to a cloth sort of I don't know, a cloth covering, or I don't know what you'd call that. But it comes down to a cloth-like waist garb around their left thigh. So that's what makes them really stand out, because obviously this armor style is now fairly well seen. We've got it. If we bring up Gimmelthor, sorry, it's the same route that the golden units wear for the elites, and it's a similar sort of theme to the Abrazanim. But I don't actually think I have any Abrazanim anymore. No, I don't, so I can't show you those, I'm afraid. But anyway, there we are. That's what the Ar-Adûnâim Armsmen now look like. So Gimmelzor now also has units bringing forth and making him look like everyone else, which I think is better. No matter what your thoughts on the old Armsmen were, and personally I thought they were one of the weaker units in the Ar-Adûnâim roster anyway, but no matter what your thoughts were on them, you can't deny that it's better to have the units all looking at least like they are from the same location in Middle-earth, rather than having some that clearly stand out as not wearing the same armour as their kin. You don't want them all looking identical, but I think some variety is very welcome. Right, we have got Rosadan bowmen, so they can come and stand over here. Defensive mode as well. But once again, it's the crossbows that are going to stand out. And to make the crossbows more important, we need to create a little space for them. So if you guys go over there, and then the crossbows take that slot instead. Right. We've got Azrazea warriors, who are actually two-handed axemen, aren't they? They're not ideal to be put there, so let's just chuck them away. Territorial guardsmen, there we are. You will shine in this role, won't you? Hoi! Gondor militia! There they are. Oh, they've been upgraded. No, that one's been upgraded. Or is that just what they look like for us? No, those ones have been upgraded, yeah. So that's what they look like with an upgrade. A slight chainmail vibe to their armor, and then of course these ones over here have the whatever the military historians are going to tell me that is. I can never remember the names because I'm not all that interested, I have to say. Everyone's interests end somewhere, don't they? And mine, I don't have an interest in military apparel of the Middle Ages. But others do. I'm not deriding those that do, but I mean, I have no idea what that is called. And some people have mentioned it before, but it's just not information I retain because, again, I just don't find it interesting. Right, we've got the warriors on either side. And then you guys can come up and support. The territorial guards are there. We've got halberdiers ready. We've got a really good bridge battle. The only thing that could make this army better, as we've already mentioned, is some good old-fashioned siege, which our enemy does have. I don't know if it's in the army that's attacking us or if it's in the supporting one. I didn't look. Right, we'll have one cavalry unit either side because we don't know yet which way they're going to route when they route. And they will route. Trust me on that one. And Gimmelzor, unlike your father, you will lead slightly from the front. There's a problem with writing those descriptions now where we've painted Gimmelcad as an absolute atrocious, selfish human being who does nothing but get others killed for his vainglory. It now makes me want to put Gimmelzon and Gimmelthor more into the fight because they have done better than Gimmelcad. But therein lies the problem that then they risk dying. And do I want to get them killed off just because it makes a cool story? And the answer is probably no. But anyway, does this one have the siege? No, I don't think so. The siege is in the reinforcing army, which is coming in directly behind. And may not actually be able to join this time because they're coming in from a really rigged position. We'll have to wait and see. But for now, the main army that will come across the bridge we'll deal with. Oh, they do have the siege. It's literally right there. Right, cavalry, get across that bridge. Ah, this battle is going to be slogfesty. This is unfortunately going to end today's episode because this battle is going to take a long time. Oh no, there we are. As soon as I attack them, they suddenly decide what they're going to do. This Gondor cavalry militia, to be honest, if you can kill as many of those ballista as possible, I really don't care if it costs you your life. You're so disposable to us. That it just really doesn't matter. The Rohirrim are far more important if we keep those alive. And also I don't need 2 cavalry units to chase down the routing units. But what we do not want is that ballista crew hitting us. And you'll also slow down the enemy, which just buys us a bit more time on the timer if that's going to be the way that we win it. As long as there are less than 3 ballista crew left, they can't fire the ballistae any longer. As soon as that number drops below 3, we can run away. And I think we're going to do it, actually. We're going to hold, because the enemy's blobbing up like morons, as usual. Oh, Gondor, you are so grateful. I am so grateful to you, I should say. He went down. Another one went down over there. There's 5 left, 4 left. These 3 are the main ones left, I think. If someone else can get involved. We're going to have to gamble on 4. We're going to gamble on 4. Right, run out. It's ×2 this bad boy. There we are. That one's going to die. Or are you going to get out? Go on, son. Yes, you can do it. You can do it. Out you go. And their ballista is no longer effective. And they are marching toward us in a large blob, which means our archers are going to have a field day when they get across that bridge. Let's speed this up and watch as they're about to have their heads smashed in.
Archers at the ready.
Archers at the ready! Archers standing by! Oh, the crossbows are wearing ready up. Arrows firing. Oh, the ballista crew did go back. I knew they would. It's because we left them with 4 alive, and 4 of them can man a ballista. Oh well. They're only going to get 1 shot, but they're going to fire for basically the entire battle. Captain's bodyguard. Ah, yes, if Dwelin dies, this is almost certainly over. The bulk of the remaining force is coming. The problem, though, is if our archers waste themselves on this first army and then the second army does come, which it is going to do because it's moving into position, we need to let our melee forces do some killing or we're going to be in trouble. So don't fire at will, don't fire at will, don't fire at will. Let's move you a bit closer as well. The crossbows can fire because they will just fire for ages and ages and ages and ages. But, we don't want to waste all the arrows just yet. Although the main army, the army that's attacking us is bigger, isn't it? I cannot remember which one was bigger. No, Dwelin's one was bigger, yes. So his army has more forces in it. The secondary army has less and could be dealt with through strength of arms, I think, rather than arrows. Right, well, give them another blast, though. Shoot at what you can. What are we on? We've lost 7%, they've lost 17. And remember that 17 is of the total combined armies, not 17% of the one that's currently here. So that is a lot more than you think. If it's 17% of the total, it's I don't know what the total number is, so I can't give you how much it is of the first army, but it's a lot more of the first army. Right, the gap is closing as they're beating through the territorial guardsmen, as you'd expect them to do. You might as well just fire at what you can. The other benefit of glooping up and blobbing like this is the catapult then might, or the ballista, sorry, might kill its own people, which we can hope for. And we've got the Rohirrim ready to charge in if need be, but bridge battles are a great way to maximise the killing effectiveness of your archers, but they are often a terrible battle setup for your melee forces. Because the melee just gets blobbed on like this and gets pushed back, hit from lots of different directions, and it causes a lot of problems. We're up to 26 now. We really need Dwelin to die. And he's in amongst that lot somewhere. Is that him over there? Captain's bodyguard. 28 of them remain. Your armor piercing. Get in on that side. We bring silent death. Alright, they've blobbed. Our archers are now entirely out of arrows, as we expected they would become. The bowmen are soon to run out as well. Bowmen, spare what little you've got, and same with the crossbows. Save yourselves with that stream of units coming down the hill. Right, now we are little choice.
The enemy are badly bloodied. They have lost half their men.
But to fight the unending grind. We've cut out the Lebanon Marines' ability to use their jabs though, which is handy, and those warriors should have done something good to the Gondor bodyguard. Where is Dwelin? It's Gondor militia. Anyone see him? I mean, that doesn't help. You're watching it after I've played it. Too used to live streaming. Where on earth is he? Is he down to just himself? Can we hope for that? That's the Citadel Guard of the Lebanon Marines. There was a large contingent of Gondor bodyguard over on this side, weren't there? But I wonder if he's just sort of run away. That's my thinking. If he's moved to the other side, gone into the blob. I can't see him. I think he must have been reduced. Oh, Captain's bodyguard, 12. No, there's 12 of them left. He did move away. Moved away. Him and his family, they moved away quite some years ago. Right, our reinforcements have arrived in the form of... of course, I should have let them be AI controlled. Oh, that was silly. That was silly. We've got one Azrael Raiders. Right, let's try and morale shock this bad boy. Get in there. The sheer numbers that have just been pressed against them. But then that's not going to work really until Dwelin dies. The minute he dies, this whole blob is running away. You watch. Alright, you guys. Oh, you can come out of that. And then you are free to fire at will. Are they targeting you, Gimmelzor? Oh, they are. Oh, we've got some units routing. Cavalry, and they're going that way as we expected. So come and get in position. Gondorian territorial guardsmen have had enough. Keep pressing, keep pressing. What are we on now? 25% of us versus nearly their entire first army. No, 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 no. Don't chase. Come back. Rohirrim ready here! There's no point you standing and dying.
Defeat seems almost certain.
Defeat is not certain. Do me a... Jesus. Such faith. Lack of. Right, where's the bloody bodyguard? Someone kill Dwelin for me, please. I know he's in there. I can't believe he thinks we're gonna lose it. Push through, push through, push through. There we are. Now they're really squeezing them on that corner. It's just an absolute maelstrom. Gondorian versus Gondorian. The feathered helms of the Ar-Adûnâim versus the clean-cut helmets of Gondor. Don't be targeting my Rohirrim now. Oh, come on, guys, you're on horses. If you see a ballista coming at you, just move out the way of it. Alright, both of those can fire, so they can shoot down the bridge when the enemy comes. Do you need to move a bit closer? Let's move you a bit closer. If they start shooting back at you, then I'm getting you out of there. Now remember, the army that's coming doesn't have a general, for starters, and is almost exclusively... It is, in fact, exclusively Gondor trash. There's nothing good in that backup army. All of the good stuff has been wasted in the first army. And in fact, that backup army consists of what is coming across the bridge right now. So not much, really. Although, interestingly, the ballista has moved down the bridge to block its own forces. As you do. Are you guys able to shoot over their heads and hit them on the bridge? Ah, yes you are. Fantastic news. So at least they get some more crossbow shots in. And while they're grouping up like that, they'll get some good shots. Rosa down bows, you're also as a backup there. Central... the force of the first army is getting its behind tanned as we speak. We've still got those guys who can come and help when the time comes. We've still got Gimel Zor, who's ready and able. But we have now got the backup army arriving. As soon as Dwelin dies, it's over.
Pray something changes in the course of battle, for defeat seems almost certain.
Come on, you can hit those territorial guardsmen at the back. Bowmen come and get involved. Come on, 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 come on. Oh, Bowman, you still have arrows. Charge those raiders in, definitely. Get him ready. Last volley from the bowman, and then in you go. The raiders already getting in there. Now it just becomes a horrible, grindy slogfest. And Dwelin is still not yet dead. Come on, guys, come on. Oh, crossbows are almost out as well, and their shots aren't really doing anything anymore anyway. Archer militia moving down the bridge. Hit them with some infighting. Oh, we've got some units broken. We've got some units broken! Charging the cavalry. Capitalise, 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 capitalise.
The enemy general. The battle is very much in our favour. Victory will be ours.
Yes, look at that.
Captured the enemy
oh, it's over. It is so over. It is absolute stormed victory at the end there. Fighting to the death. Both enemy generals have died, and it's done. Nice. Well done, everyone. Well bloody done. We can't get those Gondorians. They'll make it out, but you can get those ones on that left. This time, we're going to kill them all. Money be damned.
If we continue like this, we will smash the enemy.
Run through them and then capture them. There you go. We haven't actually won yet, though, have we?
Behold
There
how the enemy
Yes!
are utterly vanquished.
Oh, Gimmelzor.
This is a great victory, worthy of only the mightiest of generals.
Baruthiel's watch killed 450, despite feeling like they didn't do out. They did ridiculously well. Gimmelzor didn't take anything, but that's fine. 290 next on the highs. Azrazea Warriors. That's fantastic. 257 crossbows. No surprises. Yes. Fantastic work. Gondor will pay for every inch they try to take from us. We will whip them back. Let it be known, the Ar-Adûnâim will not fall easily, and the Gondorians will be beaten back. Our day has come, and the sun sets on the Gondorian Empire. 6,931 gold coins is a lot of money. And they almost certainly would accept that ransom. But we just caught so many people. Oh, that's such a horrible decision. Oh, the question is, can we convert 7,000 gold coins into another army to help on the bridge? And the answer is no. In the time that we would need those troops to get to that bridge, that money will mean nothing. It's better to wipe them out. Oh dear. Remember, he comes alone. He's not bringing anyone with him. Oh, and that's another general, and it's another... Oh dear, oh dear. Because our army isn't merged, Captain Ancanta, you're going to have to be controlled by the AI. But that's fine, they'll just swarm onto the bridge. So we have got 2,000 people. We're only outnumbered by 1,000. And then we'll have full complement of arrows again. But I'm not going to be fighting that now, I'm afraid, because this is where I'm going to end the episode. So, but one glorious victory. If we can beat them, we've probably broken the back of Gondor's attempts to get to Caer Andros. We've got more forces in waiting in both Osgiliath and Carlonde, so we can regroup on the bridge. But this one's going to be the fight. But that is going to be for the next episode. So until we speak again, dear friends, I do hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I hope you are looking forward to the next. Given that today's episode was... I probably won't do one of those story things for the next episode. I'll probably do them every other episode, or when we've got something to actually recap. But this episode was basically just one bridge battle, and I don't need to recap that. So there won't be one next time. I hope you'll understand. But until we do speak again, dear friends, na bhair na den perimad melonin, and farewell.